What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. So as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be sharing a story of how I got jumped and sent to jail. For those new to my channel, my name is Jess. I'm a recovering addict who served time in prison. I will leave more stories about my life in the description box down below. I do want to put in here before we get started today, thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel every day and subscribing and liking the videos. That does not go unnoticed, and it means so much to me that you guys show up every single day and you're so kind in the comment section, not only to me but to other people. And I just wanted to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Sincerely, I appreciate you guys more than I will ever be able to say. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So this story time is pretty old. It takes place when I was about 18 or 19 years old at this time. And at that point, I had already been on PINS probation, which is like probation through the school, and then youth probation, and then adult probation, and then parole. And so essentially I had been on paper from I was 13 all the way until I got off of parole in Arkansas. And I think I was about, let's see, I'm 30 now. So I was 28 when I got off of parole in Arkansas. So that's a long time to be supervising a person. So I was on some form of supervision a lot, basically my entire life, half of my childhood and then half of my adult life so far, I've been on supervision. Now, I had always had problems with my parole officer because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. You know, I was using drugs, I was drinking alcohol, I was violating curfew, I was around people that I wasn't supposed to be around. There's a clause in there that says you can't hang out with known felons or other people that are on probation or parole or whatever. So there's a very specific clause where you cannot hang out with known felons, is how it's worded, or how I've always seen it worded. You know, which means if your friend is also on parole, you cannot hang out with them. If it's a family member, there's some leeway there, but there's a lot of terms and conditions of parole, a lot. I obviously can't have a weapon. I can't be at a bar that's not a restaurant. So like I could go to Applebee's or something, but I couldn't go to like a bar. The state of New York is very strict when it comes to probation and parole. They take it very, very seriously. They're not messing around. If you have interactions with law enforcement, you have to tell them immediately, or the police officer will inform your parole officer. I saw Jessica last night, so that's what it is in New York. It's they're hovering over you the entire time. They're coming to your house at 3 o'clock in the morning to search your house, to make sure you're not doing anything illegal. They've woken up my parents when I was still living at home. They will wake you up out of a sound sleep, a dead sleep, banging on your door at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's happened to me so many times, but I digress. So I was about 18 or 19 years old, and I was the kind of teenager that had a chip on my shoulder. I was angry. I'd already been in several fights by the time I was 18 or 19 years old. I had a bad attitude, and I didn't want people talking crap to me, and I fought a lot. And I know I'm small. Small ones are feisty. Now, my drug use and my alcohol use made my anger so much worse, and I would fight at the drop of a hat. This situation is a little bit different. So now there were a few people in my town that didn't like me, more than a few, if I'm being honest. And you know, it is what it is. I had a bad reputation. I still probably do. There are still people in my hometown that don't like me, that watch my channel, and they don't like the fact that I'm doing anything positive. And that is what it is. You know, you can't mend all fences. Sometimes there will be no, what's the word? Sometimes you can't make amends to people. Sometimes it's better to just not talk to toxic people, if you know what I'm saying. God, this is so rambly. I thought this was gonna be like a really quick story time. So anyway, I was walking down the street and I had my headphones in. Now I have a bad attitude, chip on my shoulder, resting bitch face. So I always look angry, but that's my secret to not getting wrinkles. I mean, I'm getting crow's feet now because I'm almost 31, but I have resting bitch face. I don't make a lot of expressions. This is just my face. So I'm walking down the street with my headphones in, probably listening to friggin' Slim Shady or something, who knows. And I'm walking down the street, and out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere, I feel something hit me in the side of the head. So this completely shocks me because I'm walking down the street with headphones on and a backpack on, and I just out of nowhere feel like boom to the side of my head. It didn't knock me over, but it definitely, one, scared the shit out of me because what the hell is that, right? So one, it scared me. But when I feel, you know, something hit me, I didn't even know it was a person or a fist. Honestly, I think in a split second I had thought someone had thrown a ball at me or something. So I turned around, not even like with a clenched fist or not looking to fight, because it was just so random. You know, I'm jamming out to music and I just got freaking hit in the side of the head with something. So I'm like, it must have been a ball. I turned around mad because I got hit with something, only to see someone this close to my face, and she punched me in the face. Now I'm like, whoa, we're fighting. Like, it was so fast, completely caught me off guard. You didn't walk up to me, tell me you have a problem with me, and start fighting with me. You caught me off guard. You hit me in the back of the head from behind and you jumped me, you know? So like, that's coward shit. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with my opinion here. That's coward shit. So I turn around, she hits me in the face, and I start swinging on her. And as soon as I hit her a couple of times, I hit her in the nose and she fell back. But there's another girl and she comes up to me and we start fighting. I lose my backpack, I lose my friggin' MP3 player, or was it a CD player? Who knows what I was listening to music on 12 years ago. Who knows? But my shit goes flying. I don't have it anymore. And now I'm fighting the second girl, and I'm not bragging and flexing and saying like, oh, I'm so tough, whatever, but I won. And that girl had fallen back and I hit her a couple of more times. I'm bleeding from the nose because I also got hit. This was not a fair fight, but it wasn't really two on one, just because I was fighting them individually. Like, if they attacked me at the same time, I probably would have lost, you know, because it just wasn't a fair fight. But because they attacked me like one at a time almost, I was able to get the upper hand. So all this is happening, I'm on top of her, and I hit this girl a couple of more times. And I go to get up and I go to get my stuff. I'm looking for my backpack, I'm looking for my music player, whatever it was 12 years ago. I'm picking up all my stuff so that I can leave that situation. As soon as I gathered all of my stuff, a cop that I know pulls up, and now he gets out, he immediately puts me in handcuffs, and he's questioning the other girls, consoling them, seeing if they're okay. And I'm just like, they jumped me. I was just walking down the street. They jumped me, you know, and he told me to shut up and to sit on the curb. And it's like, why am I in handcuffs? I'm so angry that I'm almost crying because I'm so mad. I'm the kind of person that if I get so mad, like to the point where it's boiling over and I'm just so mad, I might start to cry. So I'm sitting on the curb, people are walking by, people see what is going on at this point in my small Ewok village of a town. Like, people are talking crap and walking past me, and I'm sitting on the curb in handcuffs, and it's so freaking embarrassing. And I'm so mad that this officer is like trying to console the, you know, the girls that just jumped me. And I'm trying to tell him like, no, look, man, I got jumped. They attacked me. So he's consoling these girls, and both of them together say that I came up to them and just started swinging. So now, like, my head is about to explode. Now I am so mad that it's coming out as hostile because no, you didn't just say that to this officer. Like, no, you did not just say that. So I'm trying to defend myself to this cop, and I'm like, look, man, that's not how it happened. That is not how it happened. I was just walking down the street, and as I'm trying to explain to him what happened from my side of it, he tells me to shut up again, and then another officer arrives on scene. I'm like, well, this is just ridiculous. This is just freaking ridiculous at this point, you know? Like, not only there's two cops on scene, but no one wants to hear what I have to say. So I try to calm down, and I'm like, well, okay, maybe after he talks to them, then he'll come talk to me. Maybe I seem aggressive. Maybe, you know, he doesn't want to talk to the person screaming, so let me try to calm down. I remember specifically thinking, let me try to calm down. Take a deep breath. It's all right. He will come talk to you. It'll be fine. Once he talks to them, everything's going to be fine. And the more time that passes, the more I start to see that's not what's going to happen. The more time that passes, I realize, like, this is not okay. So this cop comes up to me and he said, when's the last time you talked to your parole officer? And I was like, last week. And he said, well, we're going to be calling her today. And I thought, oh my God, like, I did not start this. I plead my case one more time. I did not start this. They're full of shit. They attacked me. And he said, you can say that all you want, but they're telling me otherwise. And when two people have the same story, on one person, that's what we're gonna take their word because there's more of them or something like that. That's basically what he said. He said, because two girls are saying it happened this way and you're the only person saying it happened a different way, we're gonna take their word for it. Also, they're not on parole, so we're not gonna take your side, is basically what was being said. Puts me in the back of the car and he takes me to jail. And I'm thinking, I'm getting charged with assault after I got jumped because I just happened to come out on top. Like, would I have still been charged with assault if I was laying on the ground bleeding? But because I stood up and I'm bleeding and they're on the ground when you showed up, you're taking their word for it? So I'm really upset. They take me to jail, they put me in the drunk tank for a while, and they book me in on a parole violation with maybe pending charges for assault if those girls decide to file a police report for the assault charge. And I'm sitting there, I'm pacing back and forth. I can't even sit still, I can't calm down. And one of the correctional officers came up to me, he knows who I am, and he said, "What happened?" And I'm like, "I was just walking down the street and now I'm here." Like, straight up. He's like, "So you laid two girls out and now you're here?" And I'm like, "Kind of, but they jumped me." And he's like, "It's pretty badass. Like, to you, it's just another day of work. To me, I'm going to jail. Like, here we are in jail, you know?" So he kind of like laughed at me. That made me even more mad. Like, to him, to the correctional officer, it's just another day. Like, "Oh, you beat two girls up." But it's like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm really not supposed to be here. I didn't do anything wrong. I was defending myself. So I didn't have the money to pay a lawyer to fight a parole violation and pending assault charge. And at the end of it, my parole officer said, "You shouldn't have fought them." So I'm like, "Oh, cool. Just get my ass kicked in the street next time." And she said, "Don't start shit with people and you won't end up here." It's like, no one listened to me. No one cared to hear my side of the story and you just put me in jail. So I ended up doing a 60-day parole violation on something other people did. But that's what it means to be on paper in New York. No one cares. If you have contact with law enforcement and your parole officer wants to take their side and the cops want to take other people's side, you go to jail. In the state of New York, if you are on parole and someone that you're living with just calls and says that you hit them, that's domestic violence and you go to jail. You go back to jail. There doesn't have to be any proof. You know, there's so many conditions of parole that it's so hard. It makes, especially in the state of New York, they make it very, very, very difficult to be successful while on parole. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but they make it really hard and it shouldn't be that hard to get your life together. So I'm gonna end today's story time here. If you are on parole, please be careful. Please be careful. Maybe don't walk down the street with headphones on. Which I have never done since, by the way, but please be careful if you're on parole. Do everything that they say and work hard to rebuild your life. It's not impossible, and there are going to be obstacles in your way. There are going to be roadblocks. There are going to be difficult times, but you are tougher than the situation and you can rise above it all and successfully complete parole. It took me a long time, but I am now officially off of parole. So if I did it, there's no reason why you can't. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober, whatever that looks like to you, and I will see you in my next one.